Got a big show today. Big show, because we're going to do an unboxing video. My name's Jim. I run CGC Sports Illustrated. I'm into graded magazines, specifically Sports Illustrated, but none of these are Sports Illustrated in this box. You know the rules. I know what these issues are. I don't know what the grades are. You're getting my first reaction to the grades on this video. So this is a weird unboxing video. I know I say that a lot, but this one's really kind of weird, but very exciting. So I've been waiting for this forever. So, geez, I submitted these the end of 2021, early 2022, something like that. So well over a year. We're looking at about a year and a half or so. And these submissions took some planning too. So there was about, I don't want to say 6 months, 3 to 6 months of planning that went into this submission. So now what are we looking at? We're looking at 2 years that I've been planning on and waiting to get these back, and they finally came back. Now, what do I mean by all of this? Well, let me make sure I'm facing the right direction, and I'm not, so let's flip these around, knock my camera around, get these rubber bands off of here. So what do I mean by all of this? It took a long time for a couple of different reasons. I could go, okay, let's do this. How about this? How about a story? Story time with Uncle Jim. Let's do a story. And we're going to talk about autographs. So, and I'm going to take a little bit deeper dive into autographs than I normally do. Usually when I mention them, it's kind of a throwaway on these unboxing videos because I've done a lot of videos about them before. But autographs at CGC. So it's very tricky to manage your autographs at CGC. If you get an autographed Sports Illustrated, send it into CGC, they're not going to give you a blue label. They're going to give you a green qualified label. Now, you may not care about the green qualified label, but I can tell you as collectors, especially in the comic book side, because again, a lot of our hobby is driven by what happens in comics, because CGC, our grading company, is a comic book company. So from the comic book side, the green label is very unattractive. Collectors do not like the green label. And what a qualified green label means from CGC is there's a problem with this issue. So if you send in an autograph, 99% of the time, you're going to get a green label. And it stinks. And why is that? It's because CGC does not recognize third-party autograph authentication. So if you've got it authenticated by JSA, PSA, Beckett, whatever like that, CGC doesn't care. So they treat the autograph as a defect. Now, you can request to get a blue label, but basically what that means on your autograph issues, what that means is CGC is going to downgrade you for that defect. They don't downgrade you for the defect when you get that green label. So it makes it very, very complicated. But CGC has this program called their Signature Series program, and it's my absolute favorite authentication program. Because normally with PSA, JSA, Beckett, and those guys, you get something autographed, you take it or send it into PSA, and they're like, yeah, this is authentic or it's not authentic. At the end of the day, they don't know 100% for sure. And while as good as those autograph authenticators are, they're certainly going to make mistakes sometimes. But with CGC's Signature Series program, a Signature Series facilitator and Signature Series witness must be at the autograph signing. And then the witness goes with you to get it autographed. They witness the athlete signing the item, and then you don't get it back. They take it immediately, and it goes off to CGC for grading, and you get this awesome yellow label. On the label, it says, Aaron Judge signed this on, 6/1/2022. So it's the best authentication program in my mind. CGC's Signature Series. Freaking awesome. And I've had one Signature Series in the past. That was the Mark McGuire issue, and I did an unboxing video about that. But because CGC is a comic book company, and let's not overstate that, 99.9% of their business is comic books. They really do not care about the rest of us that are into these sports magazines, and I wouldn't either if I was running CGC. 99.9% of my business is about this. I don't care about 0.1%, or at least not really care about it. Certainly not going to spend any time on it. So because of that, CGC facilitators and witnesses do not attend sport events. or at least very rarely. They go to Comic-Cons and they go to comic book shows and all that sort of stuff. So it is impossible to get Sports Illustrateds or sports magazines, almost impossible, in the Signature Series yellow label. I think there's 36 copies of the tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of Sports Illustrateds that have been graded. I think there are 36 now Signature Series Sports Illustrateds. I own one of them, the Mark McGuire, so they're impossible to get. But every now and then, you can pull something off. So, I had a chance. So these are. I'm trying to figure out how to set this up without ruining the surprise here. These are not Sports Illustrateds. There was a comic event where there were a couple of athletes that were going to be signing autographs, and I know a couple CGC facilitators, and one of the guys that I know best, he and I were having a conversation. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to be in Detroit for this comic book show, and they got some pretty good, autograph guys. You should go on the website, check it out." Went on the website, checked it out, saw a couple athletes. I was like, I got to do this. So, and at the time I was living in Grand Rapids and Michigan, and so Detroit was, a couple hours away, and so I made plans, did it, went, it was freaking awesome. But again, took me planning. I knew these guys were going to be there signing. I had to make sure to acquire a couple of magazines with them on the cover. I had to go there and get them autographed. I got them autographed, had the witness there, and then they go back to CGC, and they took forever to get processed. So when I gave these to the facilitator after they were autographed, I don't think they showed up in my CGC dashboard for 4 or 5 months. I mean, it was forever. So this has been a 18-month, 2-year process that I have been down. So sorry for so much setup, but this is going to be a ton of fun for me, hopefully for you. But I needed a lot of backstory because these are odd, and I get so many questions in DMs about, "Hey, I got all these autographed Sports Illustrated issues. I'm gonna send them into CGC," and I always pump the brakes. You just got to know how tricky it is. It's not normal. And again, because so many people from this hobby come from sports cards, they just assume that everybody runs their stuff like PSA and Beckett do. They don't. CGC runs it differently. So I got 4 slabs. They're all Signature Series, 2 different athletes. So let's dig into it and check these out. Oh, pretty good. 9.4. Ron Simmons. His first, by the way, these are different publications, but all of these are this athlete's first cover in that specific publication. So this is Ron Simmons, the wrestler, his first WCW magazine cover. This is a Pop 1, none higher. There's not even any of these graded under Blue Universal label, certainly none other graded under Signature Series. And so I got Ron Simmons' autograph, but he also inscribed it to me too. So it says, and this is up here on the information. This is, again, what I love about the Signature Series. You get all the information up there. Signed first Black Champion 1992 and Hall of Fame 2012 by Ron Simmons on 2/26/22. So that was the day of the comic book show that I was at. This was a lot. Ron Simmons was freaking awesome. He had been there all day long. He'd been signing autographs. I was there at the end of the day. And I showed this to him, and he was blown away. He loved seeing this magazine. Talking about how he remembered the photo shoot for this magazine, and he was so excited because this was the first time he was going to be on the cover. He remembered having copies, tons of copies of this one because he was, loved it. And it was his first WCW cover. He was just, he must talk to me for like 10 minutes. He was like, "You want me to inscribe it for you?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "How about first Black Champion 1992 and Hall of Fame 2002. I was like, "Hell yeah, do it up, Ron." He is funny. He even commented how great of a condition this magazine was because he said he's got a couple of copies left, but they're not in as good a condition because he read it and he enjoyed it and had the magazine. He's like, "This thing's in great shape," because this issue came out on November 1992. So this came out right after Ron Simmons became the WCW heavyweight champion. And it was awesome meeting him, and he was thrilled, and he thought that this was so cool. And I think it's awesome that he gave me those inscriptions, and I love that 9.4. Says Ron Simmons cover, says first Ron Simmons WCW magazine cover. Ron Simmons. Signature Series, 9.4. Okay, so next up. So I'll give you a little clue in. So these other 3, these are both wrestlers. These other three are all the same of the next wrestler. So it'll go a little bit quicker, or else we're going to be here for an hour. But I'm very interested in these grades because all of these issues were in great condition. And I was very careful when I had them autograph it. You know, I did the window bag, which you can Google on YouTube and stuff like that. It's how you get comics and magazine signs. You want to have a window bag and all that sort of stuff. I made those and was very, very careful. So these should all be very rock solid grades, in addition to all being Signature Series issues. Ah! So close, so close, so close. 9/6, Lex Luger. This is his first Pro Wrestling Illustrated cover. Came out in April 1988. This is a Pop 1, none higher 2. I don't think there's any other Lex Luger copies graded even in blue. Yep, got a little ding here on the corner that breaks color. So that 9/6, totally justified. Totally justified. I pressed these, but couldn't get that, obviously, the color break out of it. First Pro Wrestling Illustrated cover, April 1988, Pop 1, none higher. In 1998, he was in the tag team Twin Towers. It was him and Barry Windham. They won the NWA Tag Team Championship in March 1988. This came out in April 1988. So next month, he was on the cover. Just got the autograph here, but it says, signed Lex Luger by Lawrence Fall, which is his real name, on 2/26/22. Lex was a lot of fun, and I mean, wrestling fans are interesting. Most wrestling fans love their freaking wrestling and are way into their wrestling. I loved it back in the day, and I still got some nostalgia over all these guys, but I'm not that uber level wrestling collector. But man, I loved it when I was a kid. So Lex Luger, 9.6 Pro Wrestling Illustrated Signature Series. This is awesome. This is awesome. Love these Signature Series. Are so hard to get. Next up. Ooh, look at that Mortal Kombat ad. That's fun. Okay, 9.0. Not terrible. It's a bummer. This is the WWF cover. This is Lex Luger, his first WWF cover. This came out in September 1993. There is one of these graded in Blue Universal at 8.5, but this is the only Signature Series, and obviously beats that 8.5. Got Hulk Hogan up in the corner there too on this cover. So, Lex Luger came to WWF in 1993 under the name The Narcissus. He was in Royal Rumble 1993. That same year, he beat Mr. Perfect in WrestleMania number 9. So Lex kind of moved around from league to league, but had a nice career in WWF. And this is his first. Oh yeah, Lex Luger, first WWF magazine cover. Says so right on the label. This was his first cover. 9.0. Yeah, got some spine ticks that break color on there. Okay, last one. Be awesome if I could pop a 9.8 on this baby. Next up, look at that back. Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express. Love it. Another 9.0. That's all right. Again, another Lex Luger cover. I was able to find. I can only find one. I would have gotten multiple Ron Simmons autographs, but I really can only dig up one copy of a magazine with him on the cover that was in decent condition. So this is Double Action Wrestling, and it is the first Lex Luger Double Action Wrestling cover. This came out in February '87, so this is the oldest one by a long shot. So Lex went to Penn State on a football scholarship. And then he transferred over to the Miami Hurricanes. I found this was interesting. He was kicked off the Miami football team for trashing his hotel room during a road game. He wasn't getting the playing time that he wanted, and he was pissed off. And in one of their road games, trashed the hotel room, and the coach booted him off the team. Played in the CFL for a little bit. Had a contract with the Green Bay Packers, but was on injured reserve the whole year for his contract. So he never played a game in the NFL or for the Green Bay Packers. It's a Pop 1, none higher at 9.0. Lex Luger in his first Double Action Wrestling cover appearance. I see Lex a little bit I see him comment on certain things on Twitter a little bit. Lex has had some health challenges in the last few years, and so I was really glad that I was able to be where he was going to be at this event and get several of these issues autographed for him. Totally bizarre. I warned you. I said it was going to be a weird unboxing video. No Sports Illustrated, all wrestling, all signature series. But that 9.0. So that was a home. The 9.4 Ron Simmons was awesome, and my chance meeting Ron Simmons and talking with him was awesome. And then that 9.6 Lex Luger Pro Wrestling Illustrated cover was freaking awesome. Love these. If you got questions about autographs and what to do, how to manage it, how to handle it, just shoot me a DM on social media or drop a comment. If you're interested in my magazine pressing and cleaning service, I clean a ton of comics and magazines and press them for fellow collectors. Again, find me on social media, shoot me a DM or drop a comment here on YouTube, and I'll give you all details and all that sort of stuff. Really appreciate you watching. This was a fun one. Thanks.